by nearly 8-1. Joining me now is Lee Saunders, who is Secretary-Treasurer of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO. He is also the co-author of this brand new book, Main Street Movement, which will be out in June. It's good to see you, Lee. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning.
The enthusiasm, has it faded? Do you think there were all these protests? Then there was the recall. They got hundreds of thousands of petition signatures. This is still a very tight race, and the money is coming in on the other side. Has the enthusiasm on your side faded?
It's not faded at all. As a matter of fact, we looked at some very recent polls this morning, and it's showing that it's a dead heat. What we've got to do, what labor's got to do, and it's just not a labor issue. It's a working families issue. It's a middle-class issue. We've got to knock on those doors. We've got to make those phone calls and make sure that our base gets out in our communities across the state of Wisconsin. We're very optimistic that we can do this.
There are people, there are some labor organizers who have said that there are some disgruntled union members who opposed Barrett in the primary. They're going to sit Tuesday out. What are you hearing?
Well, the goal has always been to defeat Scott Walker. We supported another candidate in the primary, but we're supporting Tom Barrett now. And we're going to support him through Tuesday, and we're going to bring him to victory.
Organization by Republicans is really credited for the fact that this is a dead heat when there was so much recall enthusiasm. Governors including Chris Christie, Nikki Haley have come out, as you know. There you see Bobby Jindal, who has been out there for support. A lot of big Republican leaders. Reince Priebus says the party, quote, has done more work in this state than any state in the country. Has the establishment Democrats, have national Democrats not helped the way that the Republicans had? Is that part of the reason that this race is so close?
No, we're convinced that this is a Wisconsin fight. And the only way you're going to win this fight is to develop a grassroots mechanism and to organize and mobilize those Wisconsin communities.
So what have you guys been doing?
It doesn't matter if Christie or those other governors come in from out of town. We've got to convince the people in Wisconsin that this is an extremely important election. It's an important election for working families, for the middle class in that state. It's about what their values are versus what the values of Scott Walker are. So we're delivering that message loud and clear. Now, we're going to be outspent. Make no mistake about it. We're always outspent in races like this. But one thing we have that they don't have is that we have the ability to knock on doors. We've got that grassroots effort, and that's exactly what we'll do Tuesday.
Is this a referendum on organized labor?
I think it's a referendum on the kind of country we want to be. You've got Scott Walker and his cronies, including Mitt Romney, who are supporting the 1%, who are not supporting working families, who are not supporting the middle class, taking our voices, stealing our voices away from us by taking collective bargaining away from us, but also attacking the very lifeline of middle-class families and working families in that state. So this is beyond Wisconsin, but this is the battle right now, and this is the battle we have to win.
And you do talk a little bit about Wisconsin in the new book, The Main Street Movement. What's the message you want to get out there with this book?
Well, The Main Street Movement is simply a book which says that working families and individuals, everyday heroes, are standing up and saying enough is enough, that they're playing by the rules every single day. They're trying to put bread on the table. They're trying to send their kids to school. They're trying to pay their mortgages, and it's becoming harder and harder and tougher to do that because the top 1% in this country is squeezing them more, trying to get more wealth, trying to get more power, the Koch brothers, Wall Street, and they're fighting back, and they're making their voices heard. And they're not only doing that in the state of Wisconsin, but we're doing it in Ohio. We're doing it in Arizona. We're doing it all over this country. Working families, the middle class standing up, making their voices heard, saying enough is enough.
Well, let me talk to you about that big picture in places like Ohio, which is a key battleground state for Barack Obama. We were talking earlier in this hour about how these conservative organizations are expected to bring to bear for Mitt Romney $1 billion. And we had the communications director of the DNC on and said there's no way that our side will match that. They believe they have to do it in organization. How involved and how active will labor be, and can they be a big difference in states like Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan? Well,
we will be involved. We're going to be involved in all of those states and other states across this country. We had a major victory in Ohio. If you look at the victory last November where John Kasich, the governor of Ohio, tried to do the exact same thing that Scott Walker did in Wisconsin. We took it to a referendum. 1.3 million signatures, that on the ballot to let the Buckeyes decide, to let the citizens of Ohio decide whether public service workers should have the right to collective bargaining. We beat back that referendum that was sponsored by the governor, passed by his cronies in the legislature, beat it back by a 2-to-1 margin. We can keep that pressure on in the state of Ohio and across this country.
Lee Saunders, good to have you in the studio. Thank you.